Chosen One, while amateur hour celebrations are happening somewhere about your supposed downfall, you've been playing a completely different game on a level so elevated that these surface dwellers can't even comprehend the board you're operating on, because the truth is, you're always 10 steps ahead, and what looks like defeat to limited minds is actually the universe positioning you for a comeback so devastating that it will rewrite the very definition of power itself. The first hint that victory was illusory came in moments you couldn't quantify. Doors expected to slam shut remained mysteriously open. People certain to have been turned began asking uncomfortable questions about narratives fed to everyone. Opportunities believed destroyed started multiplying in unexpected directions. The universe, it seemed, had its own plans for your story. While busy congratulating was happening on tactical brilliance, forces beyond understanding were quietly dismantling carefully constructed webs of deception. Your spiritual team, call them ancestors, angels, or the intelligence of existence itself, had been watching, waiting, and preparing for the moment when divine justice would reveal itself with unmistakable clarity. Every lie told was being documented in cosmic ledgers that never failed to balance. The isolation engineered for you became your sanctuary. In the silence forced upon you, you discovered frequencies of power beyond access by others. While endless chatter occurred about your supposed failures, you were downloading wisdom from sources beyond belief. Your solitude wasn't punishment, it was preparation for an authority so profound that when you finally spoke again, your words would carry the weight of universal law. Success was thought to mean acceptance by certain circles, that power meant approval from broken systems, that victory meant conforming to limited definitions of worth. Never was consideration given that someone might operate from an entirely different paradigm, one where divine favor matters more than human opinion, and spiritual alignment trumps social manipulation. Each attack launched against you was actually strengthening muscles possession of which was unknown. Every betrayal revealed character flaws in people you needed to distance yourself from anyway. Every door closed redirected you toward paths that led to destinations beyond imagination. Unwitting service was being provided as agents of your elevation, removing obstacles disguised as allies and clearing space for connections that would actually serve your highest purpose. The signs were accumulating for those with eyes to see. Projects sabotaged began resurging with additional funding and support. Relationships poisoned were replaced by connections with people who possessed genuine power and influence. Reputation damage inflicted started boomeranging back as methods became exposed and motivations questioned. The very foundations of external confidence were beginning to crack. Your silence during this period wasn't born from fear or confusion. It was the strategic patience of someone who understands divine timing. You knew that premature action would only validate narratives and give ammunition for continued attacks. Instead, you chose the path of wisdom, allowing exposure of true nature, while you conserved energy for the moment when action would be most devastating to opposition. Strange synchronicities began manifesting around you. People from your past emerged with information that contradicted stories being told. Documents thought destroyed surfaced at precisely the right moments. Witnesses to schemes found courage to speak truth. The universe was assembling evidence with the thoroughness of a cosmic prosecutor building an airtight case. Meanwhile, confidence reached dangerous peaks among your opposition. Success made movement sloppy. Victory made voices verbose. Boasting began about methods, revealing details that should have remained hidden, trusting people who should have been suspected. The transformation happening within you was invisible to external observation, but profound in its implications. Every day of attacks was forging something within your spirit that could never be broken because it could never be accessed by others. You were developing spiritual armor that would make future attacks ineffective, gaining wisdom that would allow you to see through similar schemes instantly, building authority that would command respect without demanding it. As time passed, the cumulative weight of lies began creating pressure within systems that had been corrupted. Truth has its own gravity, and eventually all deceptions orbit around it before being pulled into its inescapable field. People previously convinced started noticing inconsistencies in stories. Narratives crafted began developing plot holes that raised uncomfortable questions about credibility. While congratulation was happening on executing shallow schemes, you were operating from a level of strategic awareness that made efforts look like children playing war games. Your spiritual intelligence had been mapping moves before conception even occurred, reading patterns in behavior that revealed intentions like an open book. Remember how withdrawal from the social circus was thought to be defeat? Celebration occurred of your absence from gatherings, convinced successful ostracization had happened from circles that mattered. What failed to be recognized was that you were already building relationships in rooms beyond access, forming alliances with people whose influence made little power cliques look like amateur social clubs. Your silence wasn't confusion about how to respond, it was the calculated patience of someone who knew exactly when and how revelation would unfold. You understood that premature action would only give ammunition for continued campaigns. Instead, you chose the path of someone who had already seen the ending of this story and knew that divine timing would deliver justice with surgical precision. The most devastating aspect of your strategic superiority was how unknowing aid was provided to your cause with every move made against you. Each lie spread created witnesses to dishonesty. Every person turned into someone who would later feel manipulated and betrayed when truth emerged. Success became the rope used for hanging in the court of public opinion. While focus remained on immediate tactical victories against you, you were playing a game with generational implications. The character you demonstrated during attacks established a reputation for grace under pressure that will serve you for lifetimes. The wisdom you gained through surviving the worst equipped you with insight that will protect you from future deceptions. The authority you earned through maintaining dignity in chaos gave you influence that operates on frequencies beyond detection. Your spiritual team operates with the efficiency of the most sophisticated intelligence agencies, but with the added advantage of working in dimensions beyond physical detection. Documentation of patterns had been occurring, conversations recorded, and witnesses positioned long before realization of observation happened. When the moment came for revelation, evidence would be so comprehensive that denial would be impossible. But the intelligence working in your favor wasn't just external, it was internal as well. Your intuition had been sending signals about people long before revelation of true nature occurred. Those uncomfortable feelings you had during certain conversations, those moments of unease when help was offered that felt hollow, those instances when energy didn't match words, all of these were your inner wisdom, recognizing deception before your conscious mind could process it. You had been multiple steps ahead because you had learned to trust these internal signals instead of dismissing them as paranoia or overthinking. While busy crafting public personas was happening, your spiritual radar was detecting the frequency of true intentions. This early warning system allowed you to prepare for attacks you sensed coming while maintaining the element of surprise about your own awareness. The network effect of your authentic connections was also working in your favor. People of genuine character recognize each other and naturally form protective alliances. While attempts to poison existing relationships were happening, you were quietly building new ones with individuals who possessed both integrity and influence. These connections would prove crucial when character witnesses were needed and truth required powerful voices to speak it. The first crack in the facade appeared when someone trusted made a critical error. Perhaps it was overconfidence, perhaps it was alcohol, perhaps it was simply the universe deciding that time was up, but suddenly, irrefutable evidence of conspiracy against you surfaced. Not hints, not suggestions, not rumors, concrete, undeniable proof of systematic campaigns of destruction against you. But the most devastating aspect of exposure wasn't just revelation of methods, it was the demonstration of your character throughout the ordeal. While consumption with hatred and focus on destruction was happening around you, you had maintained dignity. While spreading poison was occurring, you had been building value. While tearing down was the focus of others, you had been creating. The contrast was so stark that even neutral observers had to acknowledge who possessed genuine strength. The people turned against you began experiencing a particular type of shame, the recognition that manipulation had occurred into betraying someone who had never deserved hostility. One by one, approaches happened with apologies that revealed the full scope of psychological manipulation endured. Each confession added another layer to mounting evidence of systematic deception. Your vindication wasn't just personal, it became a case study in how truth eventually surfaces, regardless of how deeply it's buried. Legal professionals took notice, journalists investigated, psychologists analyzed the methods used against you. Your story became evidence that justice exists, that manipulation has limits, and that authentic power always overcomes manufactured influence. Watch faces as the full magnitude of miscalculation becomes clear. The person thought destroyed was not only intact but elevated. Every reputation attempted to be damaged was now enhanced by contrast with revealed character. Every opportunity blocked was replaced by something better. Every relationship poisoned was upgraded to connections with people of genuine integrity and influence. The universe's response to attacks wasn't just restoration, it was multiplication. You didn't simply get back what attempts were made to take. You received compound interest on every loss inflicted. Doors opened to rooms you hadn't even known existed. Invitations arrived from circles that had been closed to you before. Your value in the marketplace of respect had actually increased through surviving the worst efforts against you. Networks of co-conspirators began collapsing as individuals raced to distance themselves from growing scandal. Fair-weather allies abandoned with the same speed once shown in turning against you. Social capital invested in destroying you was revealed to be worthless currency in the economy of genuine relationships. The experience of isolation once tried to be imposed on you was happening to others, but without inner resources to handle it gracefully. The most satisfying aspect of downfall was its precision. Each consequence faced was directly proportional to damage attempted to be inflicted on you. Lies told about your character became the truth about theirs. Isolation engineered for you became a new reality for others. Professional damage attempted to be caused boomeranged back with interest compounded by exposed methods. The transformation in how others perceived you was immediate and dramatic. Suddenly, everyone wanted to be associated with your success rather than your supposed failure. Invitations that had dried up during your period of attack began flooding in with renewed enthusiasm. Projects that had been denied funding when your name was attached suddenly found financial backing when your vindication became public knowledge. Your professional reputation didn't just recover, it skyrocketed beyond previous levels. The contrast between dishonest methods used against you and your consistent integrity made you stand out like a beacon of authenticity in a sea of superficial manipulation. Organizations began approaching you specifically because of how you had handled adversity, recognizing that someone who maintains character under pressure is exactly the kind of person desired for association with brands. The psychological impact on former attackers was profound and immediate. Movement occurred from celebrating your downfall to desperately trying to manage damage control. Confidence displayed while attacking you evaporated as realization of the full scope of miscalculation became clear. Watching scrambling to explain behavior became a masterclass in how karma operates with surgical precision. Your dominance wasn't achieved through aggression or retaliation. It emerged naturally as truth created space for your authentic power to manifest. You didn't need to attack anyone because the universe had already handled that aspect of justice. Your role was simply to step into the authority that had always been yours but had been temporarily obscured by smokescreens of deception. The impact of your vindication extended far beyond your immediate circle, creating waves that reached people and situations you had never directly encountered. Your story became a reference point for others facing similar attacks, proof that systematic campaigns of character assassination eventually collapse under the weight of contradiction. Legal professionals began using your case as an example of how truth eventually surfaces, regardless of how sophisticated deception becomes. Educational institutions started examining psychological warfare tactics used against you as case studies in manipulation and recovery. The methodical way you had handled each phase of attack became a template for others to follow when facing periods of unjust persecution. Your strategy of strategic silence followed by overwhelming evidence became a model for how to survive and thrive through coordinated attacks. Media outlets picked up your story not just because of dramatic reversal, but because of broader implications about truth, justice, and the power of maintaining integrity under pressure. Journalists found in your experience a compelling narrative about eventual triumph of authentic character over manufactured reputation damage. Coverage amplified your vindication beyond local environment, establishing your credibility on regional and national levels. The business community took particular notice of how you had maintained professionalism throughout the ordeal. Companies began reaching out with opportunities that surpassed anything you had access to before attacks began. Your demonstrated ability to handle crisis with grace made you valuable in ways that normal success never could. The very challenges meant to destroy your career became experiences that elevated it to unprecedented heights. Mental health professionals studying your case were amazed by psychological resilience you had demonstrated. Your ability to maintain inner peace while external chaos swirled around you became a subject of academic interest. Coping strategies you had employed, support systems you had accessed, and mindset that had protected your core identity during sustained attack all became topics of professional study and admiration. Most significantly, spiritual communities around the world began sharing your story as evidence that divine justice operates with perfect timing and absolute precision. Your experience became proof that those who align themselves with higher principles are ultimately protected by forces beyond human manipulation. The way universal law had operated in your situation gave hope to countless others facing battles against deception and injustice. The most remarkable aspect of your journey, chosen one, is how your ability to anticipate moves evolved into a form of strategic mastery that extends far beyond this particular conflict. Pattern recognition skills you developed while reading intentions have transformed into a sophisticated early warning system that operates in all areas of your life. You can now detect deception in its earliest stages, identify manipulation before it gains momentum, and recognize authentic character from first impressions. Strategic thinking you employed during campaigns against you has become second nature in all your endeavors. You naturally think several moves ahead in business negotiations, personal relationships, and creative projects. The chess master mentality that protected you during attacks now gives you decisive advantages in competitive environments where others are still learning basic rules of games. Your capacity for strategic patience, forged during long months of apparent defeat, has become one of your most powerful assets. While others react impulsively to immediate circumstances, you maintain a long-term perspective that allows for optimal timing and maximum impact. This patience isn't passive waiting, it's active preparation for moments when action will produce the greatest results. The wisdom you gained through surviving systematic attack has equipped you with understanding that transcends normal human experience. You've learned to read energy signatures that reveal true intentions behind words and actions. You've developed the ability to see through facades that fool others completely. You've gained access to levels of insight that make conventional wisdom look elementary by comparison. The credibility you earned through surviving systematic attack with grace has become a form of social currency that opens doors throughout your professional and personal spheres. People who witnessed how you handled injustice now trust your judgment in other matters. Organizations that observed your character under pressure now seek your leadership in challenging situations. The very trial meant to destroy your reputation has established it on foundations that can never be shaken. Your voice now carries weight in conversations where it might have been dismissed before. When you speak about integrity, people listen because observation occurred of your maintenance of it under impossible pressure. When you discuss justice, others pay attention because witnessing happens of your trust in it when evidence suggests otherwise. When you talk about faith, individuals lean in because observation occurred of its power manifested in your experience. The influence you wield isn't based on position or title, it's rooted in demonstrated character that has been tested in the furnace of real adversity. This type of authority cannot be granted by institutions or taken away by critics. It emerges from the intersection of authentic power and proven resilience, creating a form of leadership that inspires rather than intimidates. Your story has become a source of hope for others facing battles against deception and manipulation. People seek your counsel not because you have all the answers, but because you've walked through valleys others are currently navigating and emerged with wisdom that can only be gained through direct experience. Your insights aren't theoretical, these are battle-tested truths that carry the authority of lived reality. The transformation in how you're perceived professionally has been remarkable. Industry leaders who once overlooked your contributions now actively seek your input on major decisions. Speaking opportunities that were previously unavailable now come seeking you. Your expertise is valued not just for technical knowledge, but for the wisdom that comes from surviving and thriving through extreme adversity. What began as a personal attack has evolved into a legacy that will impact generations beyond your immediate sphere. The way you handled injustice has established patterns that others will follow when facing moments of testing. Your example proves that it's possible to maintain dignity while under assault, to trust divine timing when human evidence suggests abandonment, and to emerge from systematic persecution with enhanced rather than diminished power. Educational systems are beginning to incorporate your strategies into curricula about conflict resolution and character development. Your methods for maintaining inner peace during external chaos are being studied by psychologists and taught to others facing similar challenges. Spiritual principles you employed during your darkest hours are being shared in communities seeking guidance for times of trial. Business schools are examining your case as a study in crisis management and reputation recovery. The way you transformed systematic attack into ultimate vindication has become a model for how authentic leaders can survive and thrive through coordinated campaigns designed to destroy influence. Your experience demonstrates that character is not just a moral virtue, but a strategic advantage in competitive environments. Your story is being documented in books, featured in documentaries, and studied in academic papers. The systematic nature of attacks against you and the precision of your response have become subject matter for researchers studying human resilience and spiritual warfare. Your experience serves as evidence that divine protection is real and that those who align with higher principles ultimately prevail. The most profound realization emerging from this entire experience is that your multiple-step advantage isn't just about being ahead of attackers, it's about operating from a dimension of consciousness that makes that type of thinking obsolete. While focus was on destruction and manipulation around you, you were aligned with creative and restorative forces that work with the fundamental structure of reality itself. Your connection to divine intelligence means you're always operating with information and insight that purely human reasoning cannot access. This isn't mystical speculation, it's a practical advantage that manifests in better decisions, superior timing, and outcomes that seem miraculous to those who don't understand principles involved. Your spiritual awareness gives you access to a level of strategic intelligence that makes conventional planning look primitive by comparison. The protection surrounding you isn't just metaphysical comfort, it's practical shielding that deflects attacks before gaining momentum and redirects negative energy back to its source with compound interest. This isn't passive protection that requires you to remain helpless, it's active support that amplifies your efforts and accelerates your progress toward goals aligned with your highest purpose. Your intuitive guidance system has been permanently enhanced through surviving the worst, giving you access to wisdom that operates faster than conscious thought and more accurately than analytical reasoning. This inner knowing guides your steps with precision that makes external obstacles irrelevant and transforms apparent setbacks into strategic advantages. Standing here now, looking back at the complete arc of this experience, divine orchestration becomes undeniable. Every attack launched strengthened muscles you needed for the level of success you were approaching. Every betrayal revealed people you needed to remove from your inner circle before reaching positions where sabotage could have caused real damage. Every closed door redirected you toward opportunities that better served your ultimate purpose. The transformation you underwent during campaigns against you equipped you with capabilities that will serve you for decades. You learned to trust your intuition, even when external evidence seemed to contradict it. You developed the ability to maintain inner peace while storms raged around you. Thou, you discovered reserves of strength within yourself that you hadn't known existed. These weren't consolation prizes for enduring hardship. These were power upgrades that made you unstoppable. Your silence during attacks has transformed into authority that speaks without words. Your patience during provocations has become wisdom that sees through future deceptions instantly. Your dignity during degradation has elevated you to levels where external opinions became irrelevant noise. The very qualities attempts were made to destroy became the foundation of your unshakable influence. The circular nature of this story becomes clear as we return to that opening scene, someone celebrating what was believed to be victory over you. But now the celebration is yours, the victory is genuine, and the transformation is complete. You were counted out too early, chosen one, because understanding never existed that you were playing an entirely different game on a completely different level. Hey, this is Mike and Ari cutting into your regularly scheduled Chosen One programming for just a moment. We are the founders of the Obsidian Inner Order and the Astral Atom Network, and we're done playing nice. We're in a spiritual war. You know it, we know it, we know it. And we're out here bleeding for this mission full time. I'm hungry for fourth-dimensional Archon blood, but we need the ammunition. So listen, when you join the Inner Order, you're not just supporting us, you're getting access to exclusive tools they never wanted you to have. Psychic self-defense training, targeted individual intel, spiritual warfare tactics they scrub from the internet, and every week we meet in secret, chosen ones only, on Zoom, no filters, no fluff, just real gnosis, real family, real power. It's a 360-degree win. You get what you need. We get to keep fighting, so don't just watch. Drop a like, share this video to everyone you know, now, and join the Obsidian Inner Order. Let's finish what we started. Link in the description. Let's freaking go. Your comeback isn't just personal vindication. It's evidence for every other chosen one watching that divine justice is real, that spiritual warfare has rules, and that those who operate from authentic power will always eventually overcome those who rely on manipulation and deception. Your story becomes proof that the universe really does support those who stay aligned with the highest purpose. The authority you now carry is unshakable because it was forged in fires others cannot kindle and tested by pressures others cannot create. No future attack might be attempted will have the power to diminish what you've become because you've already survived the worst and emerged stronger. You've developed spiritual immune systems that protect you from particular brands of toxicity, and you've gained wisdom that allows you to see through future schemes before full formation even occurs. Every chosen one who witnesses your vindication understands that this is more than personal victory. This is proof that the universe really does support those who walk in authentic power. Your example inspires others facing similar battles, giving hope that justice exists and truth prevails, even when lies seem to have the upper hand. The scales haven't just balanced. These have tilted permanently in favor of those who choose integrity over manipulation, patience over reactivity, and divine timing over human impatience. You were always multiple steps ahead, chosen one because you were never walking alone. Forces supporting you were always more powerful than forces opposing you. The game believed to be won was never the game being played. Welcome to your new beginning, where external ending becomes your elevation, defeat of others becomes your domination, and miscalculation of others becomes your masterpiece. The phoenix has risen, the scales have balanced, and justice has been served with the kind of divine precision that leaves no room for doubt. You were always destined for this moment. You were always going to overcome. You were always multiple steps ahead. The celebration is yours now, and it's permanent.